Hello, everyone. Welcome again to another episode of Boleros. Um, Here with me today, Gab, as usual, and Maui. Hey, say hi, guys. What's up?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's
Long
up?
time. Long time.
Long
Oo nga.
time.
Okay. So, we're recording this in the middle of the UAAP break. So, may break sila na 1 week. Kakatapos lang nung first round nung previous weekend. So ngayon we're going to talk about recap of round 1 and some of our reactions siguro on the recent games and generally so far anong mga um, reactions natin dun sa first round of the UAAP. And I think Gab has a couple of questions for us. So sige Gab, why don't you get us
Yeah.
started?
All right. So for our first question, uh, let's start with predictions. What's a prediction that you want to renegade or take back that you had at the start of the season? So just as a recap or looking back portion in our preview episode of season 85, Sam and I had a couple of predictions for the UAP season. Maui was not there, but I'm sure Maui had his own prediction. So what's a prediction that you want to take back or you want to change or you regret making? Yung feel ko Sam, alam ko na yung sa atin eh.
Go ahead, guys.
I guess the obvious one is crowning Lasal automatically as the instant champion given yung talent nila. So medyo
I'm so
I guess
happy.
may growing pains pa yung Lasal and apologies to the entire UP community na defending champions nga naman kayo. Siguro dapat UP pa rin yung sinabi kong magcha-champion or at least magfa-final. So, I think obvious sa akin yun yun. Yun yung um, one prediction na nagsisi ako. The others parang nothing that stands out naman. Actually, I think okay yung mga iba. Like sabi natin, FEU would be a bust, 'di ba? So, yun, Lasal talaga. Calling Lasal a champion. Though, I think, contender pa rin sila. May pag-asa pa. Um, Teams have come back from worse situations than their current situation, di ba? So, I think kaya pa naman yan. We'll see.
I'm interested to know Maui's predictions. Maui, ano mga prediction yung meron ka nung start ng season na ngayon parang shit, parang mali yata ginawa ko.
Or anything you
Actually,
said in the podcast na nagsisi ka.
actually, to be honest, ako hindi ako biased ako eh. So, yung call ko talaga ng start ng season, Ateneo pa rin ang magcha-champion.
What a
But I
homer.
guess, yeah.
What a homer.
Siyempre,
Homer.
Ateneo pa rin.
Homer.
Ateneo pa rin.
Mas ka na
Trust me,
dito,
Tab.
Maui.
Basta si Tab nandyan, Ateneo is a favorite for me. But just to add yung kay Sammy, I think nobody predicted Lasal to be 3-4 sa first round. I thought na Ateneo and Lasal would have been tied, probably not Ateneo and NU. UP deservedly first talaga. But yun, I think yung main wrong prediction ko na first round is yung I expected Lasal to have a hot start, especially nung tinalo nila Ateneo. Who would have predicted them to lose their next three of their next 4 games, I think. And two
Yeah.
teams that they were expected to dominate and win, except probably NU, which is one of the hottest teams. I think yun yung Lasal talaga eh. I think si Gab would say also Lasal. Lasal talaga yung pinaka wrong tayo sa lahat ng predictions. And I think also just to add kung kayo sa tingin nyo bust yung FEU, I never siguro yun yung isa mga wrong predictions ko. Akala ko FEU yung contender talaga for the number 3 or 4 slot. But you never know. Let's see yung second round. Baka magkatotoo pa but they have a long way to go but they really have to win almost every game. Get a good positioning for the final 4. How about you, Gab?
Yeah. Ako related to the LaSalle thing, I predicted Mike Phillips to be the MVP, and
Shawnee.
the offensive development is just not there yet for Mike Phillips. I mean, defensively, sobra okay siya. He protects the rim, gets a lot of rebounds, gets a ton of putbacks. Pero in terms of offensive skill set, it's rough. I mean, if Mawin, naglalaro tayo ng fantasy. Kung may big man ka na nag-shoot less than 50% from the field, medyo delix yun. Diba?
Big no-no.
Oh yeah, a big no-no. And Mike Phillips shoots less than 50% from the field at most of his shots are come within the painted area. So,
Within the paint.
oo. So, talagang yun para sa akin is a prediction I regret making. The offensive development for Mike Phillips is just not there in his second year in the UAAP. And I underestimated just how much of a ball hog Shawnee Winston is. Because he just takes okay, here's my thing with LaSalle. They have moments per game na feel mo unstoppable sila eh. Na their offense is humming, Shawnee Winston is hitting the mid-range, Kevin Kiambao is making these unbelievable passes. But there are also moments in the game na parang nag-zone out sila. I don't know if it's carelessness or anything, pero ang dami nilang, that last game against Adamson, sobrang dami nilang defensive lapses. Hindi ko alam paano ang dami nilang shots at the rim at layups na nag-give up sa Adamson. Even to Jerome Lastimosa alone. Other teams can effectively shut down Jerome Lastimosa, but LaSalle gave, how many did he score? 29?
29?
31?
29?
Oh, parang 29 points. I mean, hello, LaSalle. Kopyahin mo lang yung ginawa ng UP o ng Ateneo or ng any other team against Jerome Lastimosa. Trap him, make others make a play. Pero wala eh. Yung nga, there are moments talaga in the game na they just let go. Tas nawawala eh. Sobrang walang consistency. Yun nga. And I
Except pag
think
Ateneo kalaban. Except pag Ateneo kalaban.
Except at Ateneo kalaban. Nung kalaban nila Ateneo, their defense was so good. Tapos nung kalaban nila UE, NU, Diyos ko, bulok yung defense nila. Ano nangyari? So, yun lang. That's my prediction. Yung Mike Phillips thing. And of course, that LaSalle pick, the start. It's not yet over, pero 3 and 4.
It's not yet over.
Man, that's rough. 3 and 4.
For contender, definitely it's rough. For a championship
Yes,
contender, not just a Final Four contender.
Okay, next question. What's a storyline that you guys are following or are most looking forward to going into the second round? So, can be any storyline, team related, player related, off court related, coach related. Kayo bala. Who wants to go first? Maui?
Siguro first sa Ateneo, siyempre, yung storyline is, will Ange Kwame's knees hold up? Yun yung first, I guess yun yung question rin ng lahat ng tao coming to the season. Definitely, he has overachieved based on the expectations of people, but will this continue sa second round? And as far as yung sa other teams naman, yung sa UP naman, another storyline, I'm going for the top teams first. Yung sa UP naman, the question I want to ask is, will all their games also will still be down the wire? I think the whole first round they never won. They won just one game na
Yes.
double figures of lahat nail biters. Every game could have gone either way. And I think NU prevailed, and if they continue to play like this, I think there are more teams that should and would capitalize sa second round, especially given that nagta-tighten na talaga ang rotations, and they've been able to make counter adjustments to their strategies ng first round. We'll see. Will UP sweep the second round, or I think I'm thinking that they probably wouldn't if they continue to play the same way. For me.
Sam?
Okay, so ako, I'm going for yung opposite ni Maui, no? I'm going for the bottom teams. I'm going to think about yung mga storyline ng teams. Actually, siguro this year lang ako nanood ng sobrang daming UE games eh. Kasi, in a long time. Kasi lumalaban sila eh. And medyo, if they're hitting their shots, exciting din sila panoorin or masaya sila panoorin. So, I'm interested to see how far they can go. I think 3 wins sila ngayon, di ba? So can you imagine that tie sila with Adamson and Lasal? Other than UE, na-mention nyo yung FEU. Lumaban sila sa NU. Just wanna see how far this team will also go. Player storyline, parang as much as I don't want to pick Ateneo, no? Ayoko na masyado ma-highlight yung Ateneo. Actually, sobrang interested daw dun sa rise ni Kai Balungay. Sobrang nag-improve na yung game niya steadily, no? So, the past few games, sobrang efficient niya and sobrang ganda na ng linalaro niya. I think dun sa statistics race, medyo nandun din siya sa mga top statistics and I think field goal percentage and things like that. So, interested to see what he can do in the second round, especially now that the game has slowed down for him. Honestly, medyo na-frustrate ako sa kanya nung first few games eh. So, hopefully mag-continue yung improvement niya, no, and yung trajectory niya, and I think that will really help Ateneo. So as much as I don't want to be biased, really interested in that storyline.
Ako, for my storyline for a player, I'm going with JD Kagulangan. Because he kind of did Willis Reed and or what else? Sino yung Laker na yung bumalik? Si Devin George back in 2003, I think. So he kind of did that against Ateneo. Lang kaya talaga yun. Bumalik lang siya no.
Bad trip eh, no?
Wala na ulit. Lang kaya siya. So anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to his play in the second round if he's gonna play, because UP is a different team with JD Kakulangan there. You mentioned it, Maui. Sa no first round, I told you guys, it's a safe bet na manood ka lang, kung gusto mo ng exciting game, manood ka lang ng UP game. Kasi sure, exciting yung game nila. Like, tatambakan sila ng first half, tapos hahabol sila ng third quarter, tapos maging close game nila ng fourth. Tapos, sobrang exciting. But yeah, yun. As impressive as Terence Forte has been in the first round, they're just messy with him on the floor. Ang dami nilang turnover. They don't execute as well without JD Kagulangan there. So I think
Leader ata sa turnovers si Fortea.
Yeah. So as in, promise, if you just watch them with Fortea on the floor, ang bilis nila pero ang dami lang turnovers. Di sila nag-execute. Si JD Kagulangan is their steadying force, and I think to repeat, they will need JD Kagulangan healthy. So, JD Kagulangan, huwag ka bumalik against Ateneo. Ay, yung last game pala ng second round, yung Ateneo UP. So, baka yung bumalik siya sa last game ng second round. So, that's my storyline. And my second storyline, Sam, you mentioned it. I've never been more invested in UE in my life. UE talaga eh. The redemption story. Winless last season. I thought they were still gonna be winless. I think we all thought they were
Or like
still gonna be
one win
winless.
lang, ganun, di ba?
One win max, di ba? Yes, Luis Villegas.
Tsaka one and done si Villegas. So we need to watch him. Well, we need to watch him this year.
Can you imagine kung mag-MVP si Villegas? Shit.
That would be good for them.
I love how UE is playing. They have an identity. They shoot a lot of threes. I think Tab Baldwin said it prior to the UE game that in order to beat UE, we have to defend that 3-point line. And UE just shoots a lot of threes. As in modern basketball at UE, and I love what Coach Jackson Thiago has done with the
Analytics
team.
game.
So I think we called it na 6 games, di ba? Yung prediction natin. Ay, 6 wins sila. I hope they get a 6 win, tas mag-Final Four sila. I do hope mag-Final Four sila. It would be a good story for this season. And you know that you're good again pag nanonood na yung mga former players nyo. You saw that game against
Yeah,
UP?
last
Yeah,
game.
yeah, yeah. Sina Paul Lee.
Nandun na sila.
Ano, sila
Kahit si
Foley.
Coach Boise, nandun na.
Oo, diba? So,
Sila
you
Zaman,
kind of
Coach
know
Zaman.
na
Tumang.
you're back. You're back to legitimacy when your old players come back to watch your games. All right. So, Sam, I think you have a question for us. Something about
Yeah. So since hindi natin masyado pinag-usapan yung games over the weekend, no, yung last games ng teams for the first round. Just wanted to save one question for that. So honestly hindi ko pinanood yung first game of both days, yung UP UST and Ateneo UE, kasi sabi ko baka boring yung games na to, so hindi ko na siya actually pinanood. But the other two, yung marquee games nung Saturday and Sunday, I watched. So they lived up to the hype. So my question is, so I think Saturday yung Lasal Adamson and then Sunday yung FEU NU. Which was the bigger upset for you? Was it yung Lasal Adamson or yung FEU NU?
Can I start?
Sige, go, Maui.
Ako definitely Lasal bigger upset. I think, especially since it was their last game ng first round, you want to end the first round with a positive record, and coming off 2 out of 3 defeats from an Ateneo win, they had to make a statement na they would be ready sa second round, and that was a perfect place to make a statement. That was also a perfect place for them to make separation sa Adamson, because right now Adamson and Lasal are suddenly tied. So to me, that was a very crucial game. It was a first round game. It was the last game, but for me, basketball is a momentum game. So you never know. Baka biglang Adamson humataw ng second round, and then Lasal lang tuloy-tuloy na magkalat just because of that game. Just to add also dun sa question kanina ni Gab about yung some of the questions that we have nung sa second round, as of end ng first round, one of the things that I want to look is kung ano yung mangyayari sa race to the Final Four. Because right now, it's a very tight race. Anything can happen. I think FEU, from our episode before na 0 wins pa yung FEU, I was very optimistic na they would hopefully get the 2 wins para talagang magulo. But thankfully they did. So it will be a very roller coaster round, especially if UST continues to struggle. Yun.
Actually magandang point yan, Mau, no, na maganda yung storyline na yun. Hindi ko din naisip yun. Kasi right now, just to recap, di ba? I think dun sa tied for fourth would be Adamson, Lasal, and UE. And in fact, Lasal pa ang sixth kasi natalo sila both to Adamson and UE. Kaya win over the other siya eh. So, kaya ganun ang magiging ranking. And then obviously, if you have FEU not far behind with two wins, no? Pero interesting yung sagot mo, Mau, kasi sabi mo ang biggest upset was like Adamson over Lasal, when in fact actually in terms of just the win-loss column, 'di ba? Like you would think na bigger upset yung FEU na kulelat versus NU, which was the top team at that time. So good points. Gab, what do you think? Ikaw ba? Do you agree with Maui?
Ako, I wasn't able to watch, so I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't able to watch the Adamson Lasal game fully, but I would watch the highlights, and I did watch how Lasal's defense was so porous that they gave up 29 points to Jerome Lastimosa. But I did watch the FEU-NU game, and I thought that was the bigger upset because I thought NU had this in the bag. FEU was struggling. They only had to defend one person, which was LJ Gonzalez. And they did defend him, but they also could not convert on the other end. And that game was so ugly. Yung napanood niyo ba? How
Oo,
ugly that
glitch and
game.
Sobrang
grind
low
game.
scoring.
Yun ang old school game.
Yes. Oo.
Grind it out.
47-44 nung halftime
I was
22-21.
so shocked nung pagkita ko ng start ng fourth quarter, parang nasa 30s pa lang ata yung score nila.
30s, tama.
You really had to be a sicko. As in, fan na fan ka talaga na mag-stay ka na manood ng game na yun kasi sobrang pangit. No one could make a shot. Steve Nash Enriquez struggled. I don't think he played in the fourth quarter. Or maybe nung towards ng end.
Nung
Yung
end, tinanggal siya nung last play.
Yeah, kasi ito parang nagkakalat si Steve Nash. So, ewan, bad game for Steve Nash. I think that was a bad loss for NU. I think they could have easily won that game if they just converted even a little bit yung at the rim. In fairness kay Patrick Chuente, no, he's a great deterrent at the rim. Wala siyang offensive skill at all. Pero he works hard on the defensive end. And yung athletic wings ng NU could not convert at the rim at all against him. Tapos on the other end, I think si Patrick Sleet struggled also in that game. It was
Yeah,
more
hindi siya halos linaro.
si Santagon ba? I can't remember. I think si Santagon saka si LJ yung gumawa. But yeah, that was a pretty ugly game. I thought
Sa Honya ata Sa Honya.
sa
Tapos
Honya,
LJ.
yeah. Sa Honya. So, I think NU should have won that easily. Tapos they just let go. So, para sa akin, NU. Ikaw, Sam.
Okay. Sige. So I asked this question kasi para sa akin, I agree with Mau. I was expecting both of you to answer FEU versus NU, no? Kasi because of how far the teams are in terms of the standings. Tapos, alam mo na, NU has been convincingly one of the best teams. But I think to your point, Gab, dun sa NU FEU game, NU had a bad game. And FEU really wanted it. Parang talagang lumaban sila until the very end. Sa akin, sobrang big upset lang talaga nung Lasal. Kasi, like, Lasal had it in the bag. As in, umalis na tatay ko, nanonood kami. Umalis na yung tatay ko, nag-dinner na siya. Tapos, wala na, nag-give up na rin ako. And then, I just decided to, nakatayo na ako. I just decided, okay, let's just watch this final play. I see a broken play. They guarded, to your point, Mau.
Dawanga.
Maganda defense ng Lasal. They
Dawanga
guarded
3.
Lastimosa well. He was double-teamed. So, he had to throw it to Dawanga. Dawanga takes a desperation 3. Hits the 3 with a few seconds left. So, I think yun yung frustrating na talo na napa-overtime kayo dahil nag 3-point shot si Dawanga. And on the other end, yung last play nyo, mismatch si Phillips kay si Colonia.
Pero wala
And
siyang ganun.
one-legged fadeaway Dirk Nowitzki shot siya na
Actually,
super
Wala
muntikan
talaga
pa.
siyang offensive skill. Wala
Muntikan
talaga
pa ni
siyang
Kiambo.
offensive skill eh.
Muntikan pa ni Kiambo mapasok yun. Muntikan pa ni Kiambo mapasok yung putback niya. Talagang,
sayang.
I guess,
So,
it was meant to be that they would lose to Adamson.
So to me, kung ako yon, kung Lasal fan ako, or player ako, that would be a more frustrating loss, to be honest. So,
Actually,
so sa akin, Adamson, Lasal. Go,
actually,
Ma.
just to add, when I was watching the game, yung NU Adamson, I wasn't able to watch bulk of the game. But it so happens na yung katabi ko I attended a wedding nung Saturday of a close friend na Lasalista. So, siyempre, they were watching UAAP kasi Lasal eh.
What a diehard. Nasa kasal nanonood ng UAAP.
Actually, bro, yung nanonood ng UAAP, taga-UP yun na diehard UAAP. Pero yung mga ka-table kasi namin, mga Lasalista rin na barkada namin. So, just to add, it was really making them, yung sabi nga ni Sam, kung Lasal diehard ka, that was very breaking. Very very pessimistic and down na yung Lasal community, I guess, with what's been happening with the way that the team has been performing these past few years, and especially this year na talagang up and down. imagine after the third game, they beat Ateneo. Kala nila ito na yon, parang ito na ulit yon. The glory days of Lasal is back. And then they lose 3 out of 4 games. And they should have won that Adamson game, definitely. Sorry for them that Lenda Duwanga again saves the day for Adamson. The 3-pointer.
I was gonna say, didn't Lena Duwanga do this last season
Yes, against NU
or
opening
something?
game. Buzzer beater 3 to win the game.
Yun ba?
Actually,
Hindi ko maalala.
yes,
Yeah,
buzzer
I remember
beater.
that. I didn't remember that.
Buzzer beater. Also for Lastimosa dapat yung tira. Actually, even the Adamson players were super surprised sa nangyayari. And even Coach Sasha Sela, if you guys saw it sa Twitter, meron in-interview sila after the game about Lenda Duwanga shot. Si Sasha Sela was joking na, hindi, para kay Duwanga yung play, pero hindi talaga. And then Lastimosa was baffled and nakala niya, nagulat na lang daw siya na hindi sa kanya binalik yung bola na all of the players that they interviewed were shocked and that Duwanga took that shot and even made it. Talagang ready na sila to foul and to pressure again.
Grabe si Duwanga, no?
Props
Twice.
to Adamson and sorry to our friends from Lasal.
Yeah, huwag ka mag-sorry.
Sakit yun.
Huwag ka mag-sorry.
Sakit.
Okay lang yan. Huwag ka
Okay
mag-sorry.
na.
Okay, next question, Gab. Magalit na yung Lasal community sa atin.
Okay, so my next question. So I've been thinking about this a lot the past couple of days. I did watch the highlights of Adamson Lasal as you were talking about, and it got me thinking. It's obvious that Jerome Lastimosa is the best point guard, top tier point guard right now in the UAAP. But there are also a ton of good point guards in the other teams. I recently I watched Fortsky almost every game. I've watched a lot of Kyle Paranada. I've obviously watched a lot of JD Kagolangan. So I want to ask you guys, if you were to make top 5 or okay, yung top 4 point guards in the UAP today, who would you pick? So I assume we're all going with Jerome Lastimosa at number 1. So who's your 2, 3, 4?
Actually, ako, Gab, Ateneo kasi top team Adamson, Cellar Dweller. So, bias talaga. I give it to Fortsky. And then probably at, I don't know, siguro ako yung few na naniniwala na si Evanelli is really a good point guard sa Lasal. I think that without Evanelli, Lasal would be more in shambles. I think yung ill-advised shots ni Evanelli is a byproduct of them failing to execute and other teams shutting down siya ni Winston pagkalaan yung time. But yeah, probably si Jerome Lastimosa is probably the most complete point guard. I mean, sino pa bang point guard na the double, triple team? Wala pa sa 3.9 sa half court pa lang, di ba? But yeah, for the ranking, probably for me, Padrigao, Lastimosa, Nelly, and probably si LJ Gonzalez pa rin kahit 2 and 5 yung FU. I really think na mata-turn around nila yung season nila. I'm just not sure if it's enough to make the Final Four. But hopefully they dog it out to get to the Final Four. Iba talaga pag walang FEU sa Final Four for me.
What a homer Maui is tonight. Si Fortsky talaga over Jerome, ha? Grabe. Believer.
Wins over, wins pa rin, bro.
Okay, sige.
Saka if you look at the plus-minus, ito. Just to add lang, Fortsky. If you look at the plus-minus of all the players, of UAP ng first round, Fortsky is probably still in top 3 or he was number 1 when I last checked. I don't know if it changed, but he's probably gonna be top 3. That's very impressive considering andyan si Carl Tamayo, andyan si Ange Kwame, Malik Diouf, Shani Winston, yung mga top tier players talaga ng respective teams. So for me, Fortsky leading the pack, quarterbacking Ateneo, warrants him as one of the top point guards. And the top point guard probably.
Sam, I want to hear your thoughts.
Um, I have to go with
As an alumnus of UP, is it
yeah.
blasphemy na walang JD Kagulangan sa rankings
I
ni
think
Maui?
so. I think so.
Hindi naglaro
I think so.
pare. Kung hindi naglaro, kung
Hindi.
naglaro si JT Kakulangan, ibang story
Ah,
Very
okay,
small
okay, okay.
sample,
Sige.
very small sample.
Sige. Pagbibigyan ko yung blasphemy mo, Maui, pero
Kung naglaro si
ako,
kung naglaro
I
si
have to,
Kagulangan. Ayan.
I have to give, JD Kagulangan my respect. So, sige. So, dahil nga hindi siya naglalaro, I think tama naman, Gab. I agree. Si Lastimosa yung number 1. I give him props over Fortski just because parang mas senior siya, and to be fair, hindi naman ganun kagaling yung team niya. I mean, let's be honest, like skills wise. Siguro kung may ibang super galing dun sa team niya, mas magiging efficient siya, mas magiging winning team sila. So I'll give him that, no. Pero overall talent wise, and siguro syempre because veteran na siya, I think he's, pro ready na siya si Lastimosa. So I'll give him the number 1 spot. But I agree with Maui. So number 2 ko actually si Fortski. And my argument actually was gonna be kahit na medyo homer, no. Ang argument ko is siya yung, from what I've seen so far, siya nga yung laging may best plus minus. Na parang I don't think Ateneo will win a single game kung wala si Fortski. Honestly.
Especially
Like,
the start.
I think magiging 0 wins yung Ateneo kung wala si Fortski. That's just my honest assessment. That's how I feel. That's how important that point guard role is right now, no. But I have to give my third rank kahit na hindi pa siya naglalaro masyado to JD Kagulangan. Played 1 game, beat the number 2 team, and then nagpahinga na ulit. So, and grabe talaga, like, alam mo yung
Kainis, no?
minitext ko kayo sa Telegram, message ko kayo sa Telegram, 'di ba? Na pag tumitira siya nung tres, naalala ko pa rin yung game-winning 3 niya last year. May may trauma pa rin ako. Grabe. So, burat na burat ako kasi pasok pa rin lahat ng tres niya. I think 2 of 2 siya from 3. So, sobrang may trauma pa rin ako dun sa mga 3-point shooting ni Kagulangan. And then I think my number 4 would be Evanele actually. I agree with Maui. Kasi ako, para sa akin, pag sinabi mong point guard, dapat playmaker, dapat assist, mataas assist. I think siya ang assist leader. So,
Yeah, he
I have to give
is.
him
7
that.
assists a game. Or 7.5.
Yeah. I wouldn't put LJ Gonzalez there kasi I feel like kung si Lastimosa binibigyan natin ng, minus points dahil hindi winning team yung team niya, doon ako sobrang nade-disappoint kay LJ na he's supposed to be, he's the clear superstar, but he's not, it's not translating to wins. He's not carrying his team. Whereas si Lastimosa has done better, at least 1 game better than LJ. So, I can't give it to LJ if I'm gonna pick like a top 4. Yun
Malayo
yung
rin
sa
ata
akin.
statistically, no? Lastimosa and
Yeah.
I think
So yun.
LJ
So
Gonzalez
that's
not even leading the team in scoring.
in scoring, correct. So that's the top 4 for me, Gab.
All right. Ako, obviously, I'm a big fan of Jerome Lastimosa. He's my number 1. You talk about the plus minus. I do think it's a bit skewed, the stat of plus minus, because it depends who's on the court with you. Diba? Yung plus minus. And I think yung kagaya na sabi ni Sam, Jerome Lastimosa's plus minus kind of suffers because his other teammates are crap. So every time he's on the court, diba, every time nagkaka-run yung kabilang team, he's always there. And so yung plus minus niya, yung talaga mababa dahil they always trap him and his teammates cannot carry the load for him. Kay Fortski, I think his high plus minus is due to the fact that the Ateneo's second unit is also crap. We talk about a storyline. That's a storyline I want to see. Coach Tab has gone away from Chris Kuhn at point guard. So I think that experiment has quote unquote failed or moved on already. He's now putting Gab Gomez as the point guard, and honestly, he's not much of a creator. He doesn't do much. So honestly, Fortski's plus minus is a big plus because he's the only. The first unit is just so strong, and he's the only real point guard on that team. Uh, I've watched enough games to know that Coach Stav has a hard time keeping Fortsky out of the game. So to answer the question, my second, I gotta give it to JD. I'm sorry, yung kahit one game lang nilaro niya, that one game showed why he is one of the best point guards and the second best point guard in the UAAP. Iba talaga ang UP pa nandun siya. He doesn't score a lot of points, but yung steadying force ni JD Caguanan. And plus, he won a championship. Come on. Ba't wala siya sa top 4 mo, Maui? Lang kaya ka? Give the man some props.
We're talking
Oo
about
nga,
this
Maui.
season, bro.
Mag-ingat ka sa comment section.
We're talking about
So
this
yun,
season. You only played one game.
Tama
okay,
naman.
okay. Tama naman. But I gotta give props to JD. Just one game is enough to tell me that he's just one of the best talaga. And then my third is Fortsky. And my fourth, I'm gonna go with Steve Nash. I'm sorry, LJ. I'm sorry, Kyle Paranada. Pero si Steve Nash, I love watching. This is not based on any statistical reference or anything. I just love watching the guy play. His name and his hair and his style of play are just amazing. And he's obviously, I think NU's win streak biggest wins actually coincided with Steve Nash returning, diba? I think he came back against their win against LaSalle and
UP.
they beat LaSalle. Their win against UP and yun, they won. So I think
Speaking of plus minus, I think malaki din plus minus ni Steve Nash except maybe for the last game.
Yep.
Yes,
Usually,
definitely. 8.5 per game ang plus minus ni Steve Nash.
Yeah,
Second to him is only John Lloyd Clemente and then medyo may fall off na talaga yung other players ng NU. Puro nail biters din.
Yep. So my fourth is Steve Nash. I wanted to put some Kyle Paranada there, but he's a bit of a minus on defense.
Inconsistent.
Yeah, and he's very inconsistent as well. And he's small kasi sa sobrang liit niya, he gets trapped a lot. Madali siyang bantayan ng bigger guards. So, I'm gonna give it to Steve Nash. Okay, so for my second to the last question, so let's go with some predictions for the second round. Who do you think will finish 1, 2, 3, and 4? Who's our final 4? It's
Do
a
I
tight
start?
race. Oh, go, Maui. Sige, go.
Maui.
Pag sabihin mo yung Ateneo number 1, mag-homer
Hindi.
ako. Homer!
I think UP pa rin number 1. Definitely, I think UP will do adjustments. If they don't, they're screwed. I think the second round into Final Four. Their 6-1 record does not speak really kung gaano ka tight yung UAP season. If you check the standings, you'll see na talagang tight yung race sa Final Four. And that's how tight the UAP has been. There have been so many nail-biter games. Probably the most I've seen in a couple of seasons. So I'm going with UP number 1, Ateneo number 2, and then probably NU number 3, and LaSalle pa rin number 4. I think LaSalle will still go number 4. My dark horse pick is FEU. Still FEU kahit nung 0-5. Just believe in their system. But I think LaSalle will have to wake up for the second round. So they're my top 4 teams.
Sam.
Okay. Actually, I agree. Same ranking. So I have hopefully nobody gets injured and teams will be complete sa second round. With that, I have UP number 1, Ateneo number 2, NU number 3, and then LaSalle number 4. And I think secretly yun din yung gusto ko maging ranking kasi gusto ko makita ulit yung UP LaSalle sa semis. The same thing last year. I think it's parang mas exciting yung ganong matchup than Ateneo NU. So, yun yung prediction ko din.
All right. So, I agree with both of you guys. I still think UP will hang on to that number 1 spot. I think Ateneo will go number 2. I think they will beat NU in the second round, so that's gonna give them one up on the standings. And NU is still my number 3. However, my number 4, I don't agree that last. I think UE has a great shot at that number 4 slot, and I want to see them in that number 4 slot. Again, as I've said many times, they have an identity and they play the right way every time. They play to the strengths of their personnel. And from what I've seen from LaSalle, I don't think they're gonna make it the Final Four. Sobrang inconsistent talaga nila. I I apologize to Sonny Winston in one of our first episodes of the season, Sam. I'm gonna take back that apology. Sonny Winston, lang hiya ka, come on, pass the fucking ball. Use the other talent on your teams. Kevin Kiambao, Evan Nele, whoever else, just stop shooting all the time. Pass the ball. So, yun. I think they have to involve their other players if they want to win more games in the second round. Sorry, Sonny Winston. Hindi talaga ako fan. Kahit na yung pinatay mo kami nung first round. So, yeah, I think UE. I believe in UE.
Just to add, Gab, I think yan yung isa sa mga questions natin nung early part of the season. Sino ba yung mag-step up aside from Sonny Winston? And how LaSalle tends to fully rely on Sonny Winston when they get into a bad situation. And I think your points were valid, and I agree with them. If LaSalle does not find a way to involve most of their lineup, especially Cambao, Evanelli, and the other wings, sila Austria, and even Manuel, a couple of 3-pointers would do good. I think they really have a very big chance to miss the Final Four, despite being a title favorite this year.
I don't know if it's a hot take, but I think it's a right take. They should stop playing Joaquin Manuel, honestly. they should they should go with the other guy, si Abadam.
Si Adabam, yeah.
Oh, yun, yeah. Oh, okay.
Laki nun eh.
Whatever.
Laki din.
Yeah,
ganda
he's a much better defender.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he's a better shooter than Joaquin Manuel. So I don't understand why they're playing Joaquin Manuel over him. So, yun. So,
I think more minutes to Adabam. Is it Adabam?
Abadam, whatever.
Yeah, Abadam from Gilas youth, and also Raven Cortez.
Cortez, yeah.
Less minutes for Manuel and Ben Phillips.
Ben, yeah.
For the second round.
Yung
more ball movement.
Yeah.
Dapat nga mas marami pang minutes si Cortez kaysa kay Noang ko minsan eh. So,
actually, totoo.
Si Cortez eh.
Cortez is a much better player than Nwangko or Ben Phillips. I think their big man rotation has to be cut talaga to Kiambao, Ben Phillips, and Raven Cortez, and just bench the other guys if they want
Mike
be
Phillips.
consistent. Oh.
Sa point guard, sa guard slot, I think Mark Nona is done this year. Just been a very miserable year. And si Penny Estasios really stepped up for me. Step up for me as another steadying point guard like Evanelli. So Mark Nona is probably done. I don't know. Hopefully, I'm wrong. Hopefully, Mark Nona wakes up from his grave and plays a lot better itong second round. LaSalle will need people to step up if they want to make the Final Four.
Wow, we've been shitting on LaSalle this whole episode.
Get ready
Well,
for the hate
wala
comments.
eh.
Lagot tayo kay
Wala
Apo.
talaga eh. Parang I mean, what else can we say? We expected a lot from Lasal. I mean, both of you predicted
Yeah.
Lasal to win the championship. So we're surprised. More surprised than being biased, to be
So
honest.
last fun question.
Go.
Last prediction based question. So who's your MVP? I'm definitely not going with Sonny Winston, even though he's the leading scorer. So who's your MVP at the end of the season?
Ah, Kwame. Kwame pa rin eh kasi it's a statistical race tapos wins pa ng Ateneo will pile up. Um, I don't know if Carl Tamayo or I'm guessing Carl Tamayo or probably Malik Diouf will be second or probably steal it from Kwame just because of the wins and the consistency sa stats. Yan.
Sam, who's your MVP?
I agree. I think I picked Tamayo sa early prediction ko. I think tama si Maui. Actually, I think it's going to be a big man. I think sinabi mo din yun, Gab. It's usually always a big man. So I'd pick Kwame, Tamayo, and then the other one would be Diouf actually. Tama si Maui actually. I agree.
Ange Kwame kayo. Ako, I'm looking forward
Hopefully
to
healthy.
for
Oh, wait.
ako.
May dark horse ako.
Oh. Sino?
Hindi, pero big man din eh. Niisip ko si
Villegas.
Atenista eh.
Kala ko
Ha?
si Villegas.
Actually, si Villegas din. Pero
Villegas,
big man din.
oh.
Oo,
Si Villegas is very near sa stats ni Kwame, I think, nung first round. Because
So,
he
I'm not
also
gonna
has
go with...
defensive blocks.
Oh, go.
Yeah, go ahead, Jab.
Yeah, he does. Ako, I'm gonna swerve. I think the MVP. I'm not gonna base on stats, but I think he can accumulate stats. I'm gonna go with Fortsky actually. I think the storyline is there, and he has the stats to back it up. I saw that he was third or second in assists. He's averaging 12 points a game. You said it, best plus minus. If Ateneo steals the number one spot from UP, I think Fortsky has a case. Although it's gonna be hard to supplant the stats of Kwame, but if we're going for storyline here, I think it's Fortsky taking over from SJ Belangel. Supposedly supposed to struggle for this season. Did not struggle at all. Has not struggled at all. So what a storyline you that would be for Fortsky Padrigao to win the MVP in his second year in the UAAP.
Actually, si Sammy wanted si Balungay
Balungay.
eh. Yeah, Balungay, I
Yeah.
think eh.
Wow, mga homer picks tayo lahat.
Yeah.
Si Delfonso is also averaging 14 a game already. No, but
Actually.
that's the reality of the UAAP. It's purely statistical and wins really has a big impact. Kaya sila players like Alvin Pasaol, when they were lighting it up, were not winning MVP before. Which is why I think yung picks natin were really from the top two teams. We pegged them as our top two
Correct.
teams right now. So I don't know, probably one of those players will end up the MVP. But what a
Or
pick, Gab.
or Luis Villegas will pull Chabio. Bigla siya yung MVP. Diba?
Well, kung
Yung
mag-fourth
wins-
place sila.
Yeah, kung mag-fourth place sila, who knows? Tapos tuloy-tuloy yung kasi if Ateneo and if UP starts piling up wins na big wins, then most likely the stats of Diouf and Tamayo will suffer. Same with Ateneo if they continue to pile up big wins. Ateneo won all of its games by double figures except yung FEU game na also by 9 points. So who knows? Baka si Villegas or whoever sneaks into the Final Four na fourth. Sonny Winston also has a big chance if LaSalle gets to the Final Four.
I think statistically it's gonna be Shawnee, but yung for storyline purposes, I want Fortsky to get the award. But that's just me. So I think it's gonna be Shawnee.
No, but
Tangin ng mga tenista to.
Mga homer. But I think valid naman ang point natin na si Fortsky is leading the league in plus minus. Ateneo's number 2. If Ateneo gets number 1, I mean, who knows, diba? Maybe Ateneo will rest Kwame more if they get into early leads, and Padigaw can stat pad or and get his usual stat line.
All right. Those are my questions for today. Sam, wanna sign us off?
Okay, so stay tuned for our next podcast. Magsa-start na ulit yung UAAP Season 85 Round 2. We'll definitely do more weekly shows. Tell us what you think. Answer some of Gab's questions. Let us know what you think in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you. See
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye.